Peace. I quit my job to do content full time. Some of y'all may know I used to work at Costco, but I recently moved to LA about a year ago. I got a job at LAX for TSA. Obviously, I moved to LA solely for that job. It's a really great job to have. But about a month into it, I got fired. And the reason I got fired is because I didn't pay a parking ticket. They're really big on integrity, and I was trying to save some money, bro. I won't lie. And unfortunately, I got let go because of it. As soon as this happens, I'm lost. That job was gonna pay my bills, pay my rent, and literally help me live, bro. That is a career right there. Of course, since I was paying my bills, I only had the choice to move back home or find another job. And even then, like, finding another job that was paying that good was so hard to do, bro. Fortunately, my amazing mom got me a job at her place. And after I got that job, I had an ultimatum from my family that if I didn't figure out something within a year, I would have to go to the military. Immediately after hearing that, it pushed me to grind even harder. Going to work every day at 3 a.m., editing videos until I actually have to do my shift, posting 3 times a day, finishing my shift, going home, taking a little nap, then immediately waking up, getting content again. And at some point, thankfully, TikTok started paying me more. Really scary to make the choice to quit your job. A job is something that you are consistently making money off of, while social media is something that you might, like, you could fall off, bro. You can lose everything. So I called my fam, called my friends, asked them what they thought, and they all told me to just quit, bro. And that was honestly the best choice I ever made, bro. It's been 2 months since I quit
Oh
my
my
job, and I'm
gosh,
honestly
man.
living the life I want to, bro. And I just wanted to come on here and tell y'all that y'all can really do it too, bro. I got fired from a job that I literally moved out here for, and I still made it work. I want to seriously thank you guys for everything, bro. Thank you to my family, my friends, everyone around me who supports me. You guys are, as always, I hope you guys stay safe. You guys stay fly. Peace.
All right. What type of content do you do, man? What type of content do you do? Man, be glad you have a good family. Be glad you got a good family. See, he just wants to be out here living like a girl. Just getting dressed and going shopping and being pampered. Brother, congratulations on your success. I would argue you should be glad for your family's guidance because they gave you urgency that you didn't have. They gave you kind of like an ultimatum with a timeline. So that then propelled you to get some urgency and do what you had to do. Otherwise, you was going to have to go to the military. That was great because honestly, it's a win-win. If this pops off, great. The military is still there. You look super young. That'll still always be an option. But also what it did was it made, okay, this is what you say you want to do. Well, commit to it. And so he committed to it. And you'll be amazed what commitment along with a singular focus, how that can change your life extremely quickly. Conservatively, that'll if you really stay committed and stay singularly focused for really, you can almost guarantee it for 6 months. Oh, there's going to be something drastic as far as a change. But so you still had a whole year. But then my thing is, you could have really gotten ahead if because all you doing is just in the house trying on clothes and going to the mall. You could still do that with a job. If anything, at the very because I'm I know you blowing a lot of money on all this designer clothes. I know you blowing a lot of money on all this designer clothes. Hold on. Wait a second. I know you blowing a lot of money on all this designer clothes, bro. So my thing is, you could have kept, you could have had double incomes coming in at a young age and be running it up for a while. You could have been tapping into that well for as long as it was going to keep on pouring. But you decided to just go do one thing. You being lazy, man. You being lazy. You got tons of bandwidth, tons of energy. But at the same time, listen, man, he got to do what he got to do. But I'm just saying strategically, especially where you are in your life, which is you're super youthful. You got nothing but energy. Man, you could have did both. You could have pulled that off. And you wouldn't, and then you'd have been in a position where you'd have actually kept more of your energy because you don't need either of them because you got something else. Either way you go, on either side. Y'all, before we get back into it, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. It only takes a second, and it
Quitting
actually
your
helps
job
out.
to do content full time is
It actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you can hype the video as well. And then also, y'all, I launched the Clips channel. It is divineXunbound Clips. That is the channel's name. I will link it in the pinned comment, and I'd appreciate it if you can go over there and subscribe. I post 3 times a day on that channel, and we're trying to get it to 4,000 watch hours before February 1st because of the new YouTube monetization rules. Now, his content says quitting your job for content is very realistic. The description says it's not as hard as it used to be. So let's check it out.
Quitting your job to do content full-time is actually very, very reasonable nowadays. I've been doing user-generated content for about a year now. I'm gonna show you all how much I made in 2026, and this isn't a crazy number, it's a realistic number. But just remember, I'm getting paid for posting videos from my phone in my house, and I get to do it on my own schedule. And this isn't, again, like a huge, massive number like you see, but I started this shit like a year ago. And mind you, I could be doing way more. I'm just choosing not to because, well, for my sanity, really, that's it. And because my
What's up with these young dudes, man? We got another young dude who is basically saying that they have more in them and they're leaving it on the table. Y'all, what time do you think that we're in right now? What time do you think that we're in right now? We live in a time where things can get antiquated very quickly. So especially for younger people who don't necessarily have anything because they haven't had the time to be able to store a lot. And by store, I mean to be able to ultimately save a lot and invest a lot and allow time and compounding to do the heavy lifting. Where y'all getting this lack of urgency from? Next year ain't going to look like this year. It's going to be completely different. And then the year after that, and then the year after that. That is where we're moving into. You used to have, you had the industrial age. There ain't going to be ages now. Ages are going to be compressed within shorter timelines. It's not going to be years and decades of ages anymore. Things are going to be moving faster than ever. Hell, in 10 years, we we might be living on another planet at this rate. So I don't understand why you're saying that you could have done more to make more, but yet you're like, nah. Y'all not trying to maximize, y'all not trying to optimize. Okay. Even what you're doing, he said user generated content. What is that? And if you're early on it, because I don't know what it is, but it sounds like you're early on it. So that might be why you're having so much success. What you think is going to happen when it gets more saturated and more people start finding out about it? It's probably going to get harder, right? Especially if we're talking about its content. It's content. So that means that there's the potential for millions of other people to flood these platforms with it. If there wasn't, as if there wasn't already enough noise in order to get your content to break through and be seen and engaged with.
mind you, I could be doing way more. I'm just choosing not to because, well, for my sanity, really, that's it. And because my Instagram's got cooked, but that's another video. But this is where I'm at for 2026. But I just want to show you this to show you what's possible. This is what I made in my best month when I was actually just doing as much as I could. And I honestly think that was close to the limit for what you can do for UGC because I just had so many videos to post. But there's a lot of money in this internet thing, and I'm telling you, if you just get into it and stick to it, you can do it too. Quitting your job to do
This is a recently posted thing. He posted this video this month. So for the year, you're not even at 50,000. And you just told us that if you really try your hardest, you can do 15,000 a month. Bro, this is what's 50,000 going to do? He probably has other things going on. He probably got a career or maybe he's in school that he's focusing on. But you're telling me that you could be making 15,000 a month and you're choosing not to? And then we're all the way in August and you're only at 47,000 and 15 of that came from 1 month. So then we have to basically divide 30,000 by 7 or 6 or 7 which is like then now you're only doing like 5,000 a month because you just taking it easy, and you could be tripling that. Boy, man, I'm glad I come from what I come from. I'm not leaving it on. What you leaving it on the table for? Now we can all do more, right? We can all do more, but you done seen the proof of concept, and it's pretty much a guarantee that if you just do this, it's gonna generate this. No urgency.
Last year, I quit my $130,000 job in tech to do content creation full time. It was probably the scariest, but also the most exciting decision I ever made. And if you had told me back then what my life would look like a year and a half later today, I would definitely not believe you. When I first started posting content, I did not make any money for well over a year. And then 2023 was my first full year of being monetized through brand deals and UGC. And that year I made $25,000 through content, and that was mind blowing to me.
Hold on, man. So she said UGC too. That's what the other guy was saying. User generated content. Interesting. How did you start? Like, what content made you boom? Interesting. I got to look into that UGC. But even so, I mean, sounds like a year and a half, 2 years into it. In totality, she made 25 grand, but she left 130K job career. So for 2 years at the opportunity cost of 260,000, you decided to just do content so that you can make 25 grand. Make it make sense, y'all. Make it make sense. Again, multiple things can be true at the same time. Why couldn't you just do both? If this is any indication of the type of content you're doing, it just sounds like whatever you do in your life, you can just film it and post it, and then basically do a voiceover over it. I'm not understanding. You'd have been better off just filming your day to day, keeping your job, and then just paying an editor to edit your stuff for you. If that's really taking up most of your time, you'd have still been coming out in the green. People just don't want to work, is what it is.
Made $25,000 through content, and that was mind-blowing to me until the following year when I started to grow more on Instagram as well, and I ended the year at $130,000 through content. At this point, I was making more money through content than at my corporate job, and I was fully doing both without a manager or a team and completely burning out. And then one day I remember getting this brand deal offer.
Okay, my bad. So she did keep both. See, that's the better strategy. But I was wrong. I jumped the gun. But she did do both, so good. So she was running it up then.
I remember getting this brand deal offer for $25,000 for 2 videos, which completely shook me to my core as a corporate worker because that was the equivalent of like 4 months of take-home pay for me. And as a risk-averse person, that also gave me the courage I needed to quit and give this a real shot. And fast forward to this year, which is my 4th year officially working as a content creator, I am on track to more than double my corporate salary. So please take this as your sign to start content creation, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments.
Y'all brothers should be ashamed of y'allself. We had the first black dude with the dreads. Then we had that other white dude. Y'all got this little Asian girl out working y'all. She kept her job and was doing content. Now, listen, I'm going to give them this slack, though. She had a corporate job, which when you're a young man working a job, you're probably going to be doing something labor intensive. Her regular job is just sitting at her laptop, making 130K. So it's a little different, right? She could probably make the things go together a little bit better. But I'm saying, man, why y'all couldn't do both is what I want to know.
I quit my 6-figure corporate job a little over 6 months ago to.
His caption said, "Things I wish I knew before quitting my 6-figure job to do content full time."
Quit my six-figure corporate job a little over 6 months ago to pursue content full-time, and boy was I not ready for it. Let me explain why. So a lot of people think that when you try to do anything at all, the fear of failure should be the only thing that pushes you to become successful. But most people don't even think about, well, what if you do become successful? Like, is everything just perfect? And the truth is, my wife and I, we both started doing content in 2020. This was when the pandemic was at its peak and TikTok was like just going crazy. Really, it was just a means for us to connect and to just enjoy ourselves. The world was just so serious. TikTok was just an outlet for us, and we didn't really see a career in it. But the industry has changed so much since 2020, and there's a lot of ways to make money, and I could do a whole nother video about that. But fast forward to when I quit my job, I just really wanted to make sure that our finances were in order, because that was my biggest fear. I didn't want to be that content creator that stepped out too quickly and fell flat on his face, and now his family got to move out of their house, and now everything just in shambles. I didn't want that. So I made sure that we were good on that end. We're blessed, and I'm just so thankful that we have the community that we have. And don't get me wrong, like, I am truly grateful every single day. But I was not prepared for the mental side of this. It's almost like if you are training to become a doctor and you're in school for 10, 12 years, and then you finally graduate, you get your degree, you're ready to start, and you got to move from Florida to Oregon, and you're starting a new life as an actual doctor. You may think that that's the best moment of your life, and really it should be, but were you preparing for that success the entire way? Probably not. If you're trying to do anything in life, make sure that you prepare for success just as much as you prepare for failure. And I don't want to get it misconstrued. I'm like so happy to be in the situation that I am. But ultimately, I had to reprogram my mind because I felt that I was no longer useful to anyone. And I know that that's not true, because every time I go any
I know he said make sure you prepare for success the same way you prepare for failure. I like to have more of a conservative view, right? So when I say conservative view, I mean, I look at what would make it impossible for me not to achieve this, as well as I just have a more long term view that then gives me comfort because I know the guarantee is going to be there within, again, a conservative time frame, right? Even when I came on YouTube, that's why I picked this platform, because I have a conservative minimum 10-year timeline of what I expect. Have things started going better than expected sooner? Absolutely. It started becoming better than expected sooner than I expected because I was thinking more conservative. If only 10 people viewed this video, I would have still been on here making this video because I just knew that I was committed to 10 years. I literally just launched the Clips channel. I have a conservative timeline for that. I have a very conservative timeline for that, but it's already popping off. I don't know if you all went over there and seen it. There's already been multiple videos that are popping off that are getting comparative views to this channel over here, and it hasn't even been 2 weeks yet. But how I went into it that gave me comfort was out again for that channel. I have a 10-year outlook at least as far as what I'm expecting for that. So then I think that makes it better because I don't necessarily have any immediate expectations. So I'm anchored in that. But then it's a nice surprise when things do pan out quicker than what you expect, which in this day and time, it probably will if you really are taking it serious and you really are committed and consistent, because that's something that most people are lacking today, as we just saw with those other young men and whatever. Not to say that they're not creating nothing. They're creating something. They're consistent. But I'm just saying how I look at things and what I'm willing to do. So I like what he's saying, though. Prepare for success. But I think just do the work. Prepare. If you're going to prepare for success, prepare for it conservatively, because that'll guarantee. And then you'll feel peace of mind. And then if things pop off faster, then great. But if they don't, then you're not going to get discouraged because you were preparing for the success in a short time frame, in my opinion.
to anyone. And I know that that's not true because every time I go anywhere at all, people come up to me and like, hey, I saw you there and you did this video and it was hilarious. And we'll sit there, we have a whole 30-minute conversation. Had I not ever done content or tried anything at all, we would have never had that interaction. So, I know that's not true, but my brain was programmed to say, hey, you know what? You need to be up at 5 a.m. You need to be doing this. You need to be doing that. Otherwise, you're not being productive. And I'm saying all this to say one last time, I hope you're doing what you want, but if you're not doing what you want, make sure that you prepare mentally so that when you are doing what you want, you feel good about it.
I officially have less than 1 week until I quit my job as a daycare teacher to become a full-time content creator. So today I'm going to spend my day going back to school shopping for my daughter. We're pretty much already done with school shopping. The only thing she needed was some shoes, so that's what we came for. And we was officially done school shopping. Our next stop was Target to go find her a backpack. I cannot believe I'm taking my baby to find her first backpack for big girl school. I let her choose different ones and we tried them on. As you can tell, she loved these backpacks. This one was not her favorite at all, but she did end up going with the bluey backpack. I officially have.
All she did was edit this little thing at the beginning. And then she put a voiceover over the video. And then she's just living her life and just filming a little bits and pieces of it. This is why I don't be understanding why people can't just keep their job and make content. We don't overcomplicate content. Some people try to overcomplicate it. I need you to tell me why you can't have a job. You just filming, you having leisure anyway, and then you come back home and maybe you designate a certain day where you can edit everything. Maybe on the weekend. Okay, you starting a side business. What you expect? You gotta put a little bit of your off hours into it, but it ain't that hard. And so, why can't you keep your job and get the money on both ends as we head into this uncertain economy?
How do I quit my job to be a full-time content creator? I know a lot of people don't want to hear what I'm about to say, but as somebody who's been doing this for 15 years, I would never quit my job to become a full-time content creator unless I had a few things handled first, because most of you aren't actually trying to be a full-time content creator. You're just trying to escape your job. And those are two completely different things. If your plan is just, I had a couple of videos do well, I'm having a good month, I think I can make it work, you're not ready. Some of the big things that I suggest to a lot of creators that do go full-time is having 3 to 6 months expenses saved up, multiple income streams, not just relying on one platform that's just doing really well right now. On top of that, consistent income, not just random spikes or one lucky month. A clear path of...
Here's the thing. He said not just relying on one platform that's doing well right now. Just pick the best platform. See, here's my thing. When I'm evaluating, I'm like, okay, should I go to this other platform and try to build this up? That the whole other platform works completely different. The content style and even the consumer expects something completely different. When I already did the prep work to begin with to pick, in my opinion, which was going to be the best platform and especially the best long-term platform, which is YouTube. I know you don't know what I'm referring to, but I'm saying when I'm looking at, okay, how do I diversify? Like he said, my strategy, which his strategy is not wrong to diversify across platforms. The risk that he's referring to is what if this platform comes out with a rule, or what if it goes away, goes bankrupt, whatever. But my thing is, no, if I'm already on the best thing, before I start looking at how can I diversify and do other things, is there a way for me to diversify on the best thing within the best thing so that I can extract more out of the best thing? Which again is why I launched the Clips channel. I already like this platform. I feel like this is a good, stable platform. I like the direction that it's going. I feel like it falls within my 10-year time horizon of what I expect. I feel like it'll still be around thriving. If you don't know, YouTube. So now what YouTube is trying to do is it's trying to get people to watch YouTube more so on their TV, because YouTube has the highest ratings right now. YouTube has more ratings than Netflix as far as people just sitting down watching it. So I like that, right? I feel like that's great. I feel like that's a good indication of where it's heading, where its trajectory is. So before I start saying, oh, well, let me build my Instagram up, let me build the TikTok up. Nah, can I diversify right here where I'm at, where I can still do a little bit more, but build this up? And that, voila, Clips channel. And that's, you can think of it that way too. It's no different than saying it is the right advice if and if you don't know stocks. An index fund is basically a diversified collection of multiple companies. For example, the S&P 500 is pretty much the best 500 companies in the US at a given time. It gets updated and is super diversified, so that kind of protects you, right? That protects you over time. So it's super safe, super diversified. When you think of diversification, think of safe, right? Doesn't mean that it's foolproof, but it's as safe as we can get. So you can do that and you'll do well over a longer period, possibly. But also, I mean, if you're just invested in blue chip, which are still pretty good companies, like for example, we have a pretty good indication that Amazon is going to be around 10 years from now. We have a pretty good indication that Google is going to be around, Apple is going to be around. So if you invest in an index fund over 10 years, or you invest in blue chip, like one of those major companies that are very stable and have they pretty much have a hook on whatever it is that their industry is, where you pretty much can't overthrow them. You pretty much can't. They got too much money. They've been around too long and they got too much data. So they're not going anywhere and they're only going to get stronger. So if I invest in an index fund over 10 years, it's safer, but it's also very probable if I were to invest in one of those companies over 10 years that actually it's more risky, but it has the potential to probably reap me way more over 10 years. And so that's how I'm thinking about YouTube. Okay, let me create the Clips channel. And it's a little bit more riskier, but the upside is bigger over my 10-year period. So there is no right or wrong when it comes to this thing, right? Brad said, I don't know, man, just passed my 1 year mark of leaving construction for full-time UGC/content, and it's been amazing. I say it depends on the person. Okay, so we need to figure out, there's no time like the present. One of my rules used to be, if it takes 2 seconds, if it takes 2 minutes, do it now. So let's just go ahead and see what is UCG content, and we'll wrap this video up. Let's just go ahead and just understand this UGC, because everybody is talking about this. So again, UGC stands for user generated content. In the creator/brand deal language, it usually means content you create for a brand to use on its social media or ads, rather than the brand paying you primarily for access to your audience. For example, a company might pay you $500 to make a 30-second video where you say something like, I've been using this budgeting app for a week, and this is the feature I actually like. You film it like a natural TikTok reel, send the video finished to the video company, and they post it on their page or run it as an ad. You may never post it to your own channel. That's different from an influencer sponsorship, where they are paying you to promote the product to your audience. The simplest distinction is UGC pays for your content, but a sponsorship, so you all know when we talk, that's more so the brand deals. Sponsorship, brand pays you for your content plus your audience. UGC pays for your content, brand deals, sponsorships pay for your content plus your audience. So you would have to post it on your page, and a brand deal may even be using you because of your audience, because your audience may fall within a certain different demographic that they deemed as the best ideal demographic for their product. So it immediately positions them in front of people who are already, their ideal customer profile. UGC, usually posted by the brand. Sponsorship, usually posted on your channel. UGC, follower count matters less. Sponsorship, views/subscribers matter more. So it sounds like UGC will allow somebody who doesn't even have an audience to be able to make a lot of money, like what they're saying. UGC, often priced per video/package. Sponsorship, often priced based on reach/views. Lastly, UGC, brand may purchase ad usage rights, whereas the sponsorship fee usually covers your placement. Okay. So the UGC can basically include like testimonials, product demonstrations, unboxings, problem/solution videos, voiceovers, tutorials, lifestyle clips, scripted customer style videos. Okay. Got it. So UGC is not the same either as like an affiliate deal either, right? You can charge a guaranteed flat fee to make a UGC and never take any commission as well, right? So you might do 3 UGC videos and that could equal a $1,500 guarantee if each one is like $500, right? So this is more so, it sounds like this is the new thing for up and coming people, especially that's probably being sold to them as something that they can, because this sounds super complex and hard. I don't even know how you would even like you're a smaller creator with no motion and you can just make like what that guy was saying, 15K and all this, doing UGC and all that. It's super new, it sounds like. So it's possible that because a lot of creators haven't heard of it, but eventually I'm a creator and I didn't even know about it. So eventually when actual creators with audiences know about it, what do you think is going to happen? That's going to be a sweeter deal. People like us will just take it. Not that I'm a big creator, but I'm just saying with a little bit of motion, we'll just take it, right? And it won't be any more room for people who aren't, right? But it's still new. And what also I feel like this could have the potential to be is really just a money grab for scams. There's going to be people claiming to be UGC creators and be doing all this with UGC, who really their bread and butter and the way that they're going to be making money is off teaching you a course on how to become a UGC creator. Because again, I don't even know how you would get started with this. And I like to think that I stay on the cutting edge a little bit enough. And so I feel like this is going to be something that's framed as you need to get certain information if you want to get these results with it. But I don't think that is going to necessarily be worth what they're saying, just as me discerning it based off the information that I just learned. Y'all, we'll leave it there for today. If you like the video, I greatly appreciate it. It only takes a second and it actually helps out more than you know. And also if you can hype the video as well. Hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button and it shows the points. And since I'm a smaller creator, a smaller channel, we actually get more points per hype. And that's because hype was designed for smaller channels. So that's why. But if you come across a video and you do not see the hype button, then it's probably been over 7 days. And that's because hype usually vanishes after 7 days. So it's usually best practice if you want to hype to just go ahead and hype while the iron is hot on a newer video. And then also if you want to become a member of the channel as well, the join button's on the video. So what becoming a member of the DXU family will come with is you would get badges next to your comments where it would show people that you are a member whenever you leave a comment, as well as you would get early access to content and also exclusive content that's not available for everyone else on YouTube. And again, y'all, I just launched the Clips channel. It is divineXunbound Clips, and it will be linked in the pinned comment. So if you can go over there and subscribe, that would help out tremendously. Our goal is to get to 4,000 watch hours before February 1st. So, and again, y'all, I'll see you in the next video.